I went carnivore for 30 days. This is my experience and whether you should do it too. So I went carnivore for 30 days, but at the time my phone was broken, so I don't have any footage from when I went carnivore, but I will be sharing my experience in this video. If you've never heard of the carnivore diet, basically you only eat meat, and there's less strict versions where you can eat stuff like dairy and eggs as well. I went for the one where I'm allowed to eat dairy and eggs. So it's kind of like keto, but I'm not really eating anything else or any carbs. Now, a lot of people believe that you need carbs for energy, but that's not entirely true. When your body goes several days without carbs, it will switch to burning fat for energy instead. Now, you may be wondering why you would want to go carnivore, and there is many different benefits to being carnivore. People report their acne getting better, people report being able to lose weight very easily on carnivore, and people just report feeling better and having a much clearer mind overall. And I'm going to be discussing the different benefits and side effects that I had on carnivore. Now, the first benefit I experienced is actually the main benefit, in my opinion, on carnivore, and that's that it's very easy to lose weight. The 30 days I went carnivore, I lost 15 pounds. That's about half a pound I lost per day. Now, if you know me, you know that I have a very hard time putting on weight. So the fact that I was losing weight wasn't necessarily good for me, but I know there's a lot of people out there where losing weight is their main goal. And the reason you lose weight on carnivore is because you will eat enough meat and you won't really feel hungry. Like, you don't get hungry nearly as often, so you don't really have a want to eat, and so subsequently you end up losing a bunch of weight. Now, I think carnivore is especially useful for people who are bodybuilding or trying to gain muscle but want to lose fat, because when you are eating so much protein, you're gonna lose weight, but most of that weight's going to be fat, because when you're consuming that much protein and consistently working out, your body basically has no reason to get rid of muscle over fat. So you're going to lose a lot of fat and maybe a very small amount of muscle, but not enough to even really be worried about it. Where regularly, if you're just trying to lose weight by like cutting or whatever, like most bodybuilders do, you might lose a lot more muscle because you're not consuming enough protein. With carnivore, you're eating way less calories, losing a lot of weight really fast, a lot of fat really fast, but because you're eating so high in protein, it's very hard to end up losing muscle on carnivore. Another benefit I noticed on carnivore is you feel much more clear-minded all the time, and I think that has to do with how burning carbs versus burning fat works. With carbs, it's more like an unstable, explosive energy. With fat, it's more like a stamina, sustainable energy. So, something I noticed is, well, on carnivore, I was kind of weaker when lifting, but I also was able to do much more reps. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like my muscles were weaker overall, but I had much more stamina than I did before. Because I noticed when on carnivore, you just feel normal all the time. Your mind's clear, you can think straight. But when you're burning carbs for energy, I feel like you get more headaches, you get more days where you're just like cloudy in the mind. And that's kind of interesting, because usually a lot of people say when they're losing weight, they end up having like a cloudy mind, but it's the exact opposite on carnivore. Your mind's much more stable and sustaining, kind of like how burning fat and burning carbs works with like your muscles. Now, during this whole thing, I went from about 15% body fat to 10% body fat. So again, if you're someone who's looking to lose weight, or like a bodybuilder looking to lose a lot of fat without losing any muscle, I would highly suggest carnivore for you. Now, something else I wanted to talk about was the downsides to carnivore. And the first downside is, if you're someone like me who has a very fast metabolism and has a hard time putting on weight. I don't think carnivore is something that you can sustain because you're just going to keep losing and losing weight. Now, luckily for me, I was only doing it for 30 days, and that's about the longest that I could go because I had lost so much weight in that amount of time. If I kept going, I would have lost even more weight. Now, another downside is there's kind of an adaptation phase in the carnivore diet. The first about a week that you go on carnivore will not be good. You will feel bad. You have pretty much constant nausea and digestive problems, and that's because I believe your body is kind of adapting because your body is so used to burning carbs all the time that now for the first time in your life you're suddenly burning fat over carbs. I feel like there's some type of adaptation phase where you're not going to feel very good for the first week, but then after the first week you start feeling a lot better than you ever have before. Now, when it comes to acne, if you're going on the carnivore diet to help with your acne, I'm going to say on the 30 days that I was carnivore, I didn't really notice a change in my acne at all, because I do get some acne, as you can see here, and I didn't really notice any type of difference. I didn't get any more acne or any less, but after I came off the carnivore diet, suddenly my acne got quite a bit noticeably better, and I feel like that's kind of because when you're in carnivore, your body is dumping a lot of toxins that have built up inside your body from eating all of those carbs, sugar, all that sorts of bad stuff. Your body is kind of dumping stuff, and that could cause your acne to kind of get worse, if my theory is correct. Now, mine didn't really get worse, but then afterwards, when I started eating carbs again, I noticed my acne got better, and I feel like that's just because going on carnivore for a month like I did kind of just made my skin and body healthier. And I feel like if I had been on carnivore for longer, that my acne probably would have improved a lot. Now, another downside to carnivore I noticed is that the longer you're on carnivore, the more you want to eat things that aren't a part of your carnivore diet. I noticed by each and every day that I felt more like I wanted to eat a piece of candy or a donut or pizza or something like that. But I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that, or will even act like that's the complete opposite. A lot of people I've heard say that the longer they're on carnivore, the less they find those types of foods like pizza and donuts appealing, and I feel like that's not true at all, at least not the month that I was on it. Maybe it would change if I were to do the carnivore diet longer, but the month that I was on it, I definitely felt like each day I wanted to eat those things even more. And that's another reason that I think it's not a very sustainable diet for certain people. Now, certain people, maybe it is a very sustainable diet. There's lots of people who've been doing it for years upon years upon years, and they're definitely very healthy people. And that brings me to my next point. I don't believe that carnivore is necessarily the best diet possible for health, but I do believe that carnivore is a lot better than the average person's diet. I believe that if you're a regular person, or even maybe a slightly healthier and regular person, I feel like carnivore would definitely be a lot healthier than the average person. But do I think it's the ultimate diet for humans? No, I believe that carnivore, so meat and dairy mixed with certain vegetables and maybe some fruit, is kind of the ultimate diet. Now, I have learned while doing research on carnivore that seeds are a lie. You don't want to eat seeds ever. Now, basically, if you've never heard of why seeds are bad for you, and why everyone hates seed oils, and why everyone's saying that wheat is bad for you, it actually has some sound studies behind it. So basically, seeds contain this thing, or not just seeds, but all sorts of plants, but most of all, seeds contain this mineral called oxalates. Now these minerals your body can't really get rid of normally, and basically these minerals will build up in your joints over many years, and with age it gets even worse. And basically these minerals, which are called oxalates, are what is responsible for arthritis. So if you don't want to get arthritis, well, carnivore diet would be the best way to, because it completely avoids any oxalates whatsoever. But even if you're not trying to go carnivore, I would suggest not eating lots of seeds like peanuts and cashews, or even like a lot of wheat and stuff, because it has oxalates in it which build up in your joints, giving you arthritis later in life. Now I've heard a lot that older people or even middle-aged people who go on carnivore experience a thing called oxalate dumping. And basically what oxalate dumping is when oxalates start to come out from your body. And now it can be just through your skin. You might get like rashes, and the oxalates like come out through your skin, or it'll come out through your sweat or your urine. And basically throughout all the years that these people have built up oxalates in their body, now that they're finally stopped consuming oxalates and their body is on like this very like healing diet, their body starts to dump all of these oxalates out from their body. Now for me personally, I think I will go carnivore again, because now that what my plan is I'm going to go on a big bulk for like maybe 9-10 months, something like that. So for a long time, and I might get like a higher body fat percentage, like maybe even up to like 17%. And then I'm going to go carnivore for maybe even 2-3 months, and I'm going to get all the way back down to 10% body fat. And that's why, again, I would especially suggest this to people who are like me, who are trying to gain muscle and lose fat. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you like my content, make sure to subscribe. God bless you all, and goodbye.